weird.
So
and
it's weird.
The best take on it was Trump.
Right.
When he was doing that, what is her name? Caitlin Collins? Is that what her name is? The journalist that was asking him, and she was kind of like trying to say in a gotcha way.
Right. Who do you want to win?
Do you want Ukraine to win this war? And he said, I just want people to stop dying. And that is somehow controversial.
Yeah, and
because it's coming from him.
Right. Anything that he says, no matter how logical it is, people are going to attack.
100%.
And that was a very logical statement. I just want people to stop dying. By the way, that's the appropriate response to truly, really every war out there.
Yeah.
Is that there's been no war that really hasn't been won with some type of agreement, treaty, compromise, right? Most wars have some type of end game where you can go, okay, we got to split up territory, we got to start a provisional government, whatever it is. Now, this might be more difficult to do that, but at the end of the day, unending conflict only hurts the people in those countries fighting the wars and becoming victims of the wars. They don't hurt the people here making a lot of money.
It's just so sketchy whenever money gets involved.
Yes.
Whenever you're realizing that people have an incentive to keep this rolling to the tune of who knows how many billions of dollars so far. Like, how much has been spent on that war so far?
Oh, my God. I mean, it's over $1 trillion probably. You know, we spent a lot of money. Well, what got me interested, what was why I started to read about it and, you know, was like overnight, the worst people in the world were absolutely in love with the Ukraine. Like the people that, you know, again, the pro-Iraq war, pro-Guantanamo Bay, pro-torture, preemptive war. They all were like very much across the board the idea that we have to support the Ukraine for as long as it takes and give them whatever it takes. And I felt like that was crazy because we've seen that in the past bite us in the ass a lot of different places. And they all, I mean, these are like the worst people in the world. The people in Beverly Hills who are like, make valets cry, who are like, get my fucking car. Like those people, they all had Ukrainian flags on the outside of their house. But they didn't care about Yemen. They don't care about what goes on in the Middle East in terms of like the Palestinians or, you know, what's happening over there. They don't care about a lot of issues and a lot of places, but they seem to really believe that we had to arm the Ukraine and engage in kind of this proxy war with Russia for an unending period of time, no matter how dangerous it got. And Russia's a country with a lot of nuclear weapons. So, I mean, what is the American national interest in that continued policy? I don't know. Go to any city in America, right? And you see a lot of problems. Homelessness, drug addiction, all of the money we're sending to the Ukraine probably could be used here.
Right. And there was a long period where everybody knew that there should be something done to clean up the places that got hit by the riots, to deal with some of the homeless encampments. There should be a way where reasonable people can come to some solution. We need funding to fix these things.
Yeah.
But the fact they just all of a sudden have trillions of dollars for this.
Right.
It's like, where was all that money? Like, why?
Right.
What about investing in cities? What about?
Well, in the beginning, it was we want peace, and Ukraine was invaded by Russia, and I understand, you know, supporting Ukraine to a degree. But now we're talking about the only acceptable outcome is regime change in Russia.
All right.
And then there was this guy, this hot dog warlord, this guy who had sold hot dogs and then was chopping people's heads off. Okay, he did this like fake coup that didn't work, and everybody in our media was like, he's going to be great. Let's get rid of Putin, who, you know, his problems, his faults notwithstanding, and he's a murderer, he's done crazy things, but we've lived with him for 20 years in relative peace, meaning like we've never had a war with him, right?
Right.
He's done things in his region, but he was the first leader after 9/11 to call us and say, you know, like, hey, I'm sorry about that, da-da-da-da-da. Whatever the case may be, we were ready to just get rid of him and throw in a dude who hours before was lobbing people's heads off in the street.
Wild.
And so that to me is like you start looking at foreign policy going, does anyone care about anything? Like, do anybody, like this guy's a mass murderer. He's running the Wagner Group, which is like, you know, this group of like prisoners, ex-prisoners that he recruited from Soviet prisons, from Russian prison. And these are like murderers and rapists. He's going, let's go to the Ukraine and kill everybody. And then everybody's like, no, he'd be great. doesn't make too much sense to me. And then that doesn't happen, and everyone goes, eh.
What the crazy thing is that it's been adopted wholesale by the left.
Yes.
The people that are always the most skeptical about war.
Well, but I mean, if you look at a lot of wars, I guess in history, a lot of them have been started by Democrats. It seems like the party in power likes war. Seems like if you're the party in power in this country, you do like a war. With the exception of Trump, and I know people get mad when I say this, but Trump wasn't in a ton of wars. I mean, he did do some drone strikes, he did things, but the party in power.
He died like a dog.
Right, right. The party in power, they seem to like war. And I get it. I would too, because it gives you something to talk about and do.
Well, Trump was the first guy that I ever saw who was a sitting president who openly admitted that the military-industrial complex wants you to go to war.
Yeah.
Like when Eisenhower was resigning, he said it, but Trump actually said that.
He said it.
In an interview, I think it was with Steve Hilton on Fox.
Yeah.
Which is just a wild thing to hear, that they might be influenced to
Yeah.
be more inclined to get, not wars when they're necessary, but like wars that they can justify for financial reasons.
And listen, we should treat the people that serve the military with the respect of being honest with them about what their mission is, right? And why they're somewhere.
Yeah.
If you're going to make the ultimate sacrifice for America, you're going to make that sacrifice. You're going to put yourself in harm's way. You might die. You have a family and kids. They're not getting paid millions of dollars. We're not making them famous. They're not, you know what I mean? Like, we should treat them with the respect of like the things they do should be vital and necessary for our security. They shouldn't just be out there making people money.
Right. Exactly.
Which is why when I run for governor of California, which I should,
you could probably win.
I actually thought about it, maybe not seriously, but, maybe I said, why not? Why not?
You would really get a lot of votes.
There's something about it because
if you were serious about it?
I might be serious about it because like the only thing that's going to be against me is the hours and hours I have of me talking. That's going to be tough because people are going to be able to isolate lots of things I've said, and they're going to go, hey, this is crazy.
But
I also might get bored with the job in a week and quit.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. I might just book like a comedy club in
Des Moines.
Yeah, it's nowhere good. And I might just leave and go, this is kind of boring. Because I don't think, I don't know, running seems great. Winning is great. Governing seems terrible.